With any urgent public importance, I believe Ondo has one.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues.
Honorable TJ, resume your seat, please.
My name is Omolafe Isaac Adedayo, representing Akure North, Akure South Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Ondo. Mr. Speaker, I come under Order 8, Rule 4 of the House Rule to move the motion of urgent public importance. With me on the motion are 10 other members of this Honorable House, 9 from Ondo State, 1 from Osun State. Mr. Speaker, I consider the motion as urgent, and I pray that it's taken now. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Subject matter.
Foluke Akinbolari in Ondo State, daughter of Adjournment.
Any seconder to the motion? Honorable Benila.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Benila. I represent Lantern North and South. I stand to second this very important motion. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Any seconder to the second leg that we take this, suspend our rules and take this motion now? Any seconder? Honorable Wale, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my fellow colleagues. I remain Oluwole Oke. I represent the Ijesha North people. Mr. Speaker, I second the motion that a rule be set aside and the matter be taken immediately. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of the second leg of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable, please move your motion.
Omolafe Isaac Adedayo. Let me thank Mr. Speaker for allowing me to move this motion today. Because if not, I will not be able to go to my constituency. Thanks, God. The motion is all about urgent need to investigate the killing of Mrs. Olufunke Olakunrin along Benin Ore Road in Ondo State by my very good self, Omolafe Isaac Adedayo, Honorable Akinbolari Mayowa, Honorable Akinjo Victor, Honorable Peter Makinde, Honorable Adelebe Oluwatimeni, Honorable Tajudin Adeyemi Adefioye, Honorable Ikengoju Bolugadere, Honorable Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, and Honorable Adejoro Adeogun, and Honorable Oluwole Oke. The House notes with dismay the reported brutal killing of Mrs. Olufunke Olakunrin, aged 58, the daughter of Ruben Fashionati, the leader of the Yoruba socio-political group Afenifere, on the 12th July 2019, along Ore Road in Ondo State, the headquarters of Ojibo local government area of Ondo State. Further notes that Mrs. Olakunrin and others were heading to Lagos from Akure in the morning when gunmen suspected to be herdsmen attacked her vehicle, shooting sporadically at them, even when the driver had to quickly turn back to escape from the hoodlums. But unknowingly to him, there were some of them in the bush by the other side of the road. Observe that there were 5 people inside the vehicle when the gunmen struck, but sadly, she was hit by a bullet, and when rushed to the hospital, she died minutes after. Although others who were wounded were also rushed to the hospital and have since been discharged. Aware that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government, as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that we, the people of Nigeria, cannot continue to fold our arms and watch the perpetration of the evil acts keep shedding the blood of innocent people across the land. And concerns about the security architecture of the country, which is in the need of urgent reciting in order, and to effectively tackle the rising cases of banditry, kidnapping, armed robbery, and cattle rustling ravaging the country. Resolved so, one, observes a minute silence in honor of late Mrs. Olufunke Olakunrin. Two, condemn the gruesome murder of Mrs. Olufunke Olakunrin. Three, delegate some honorable members of the House to pay a condolence visit to the family of Mrs. Olufunke Olakunrin and the government of Ondo State over the loss of their daughter. Four, all the Inspector General of Police and other security agencies to fish out the perpetrators of this heinous crime to serve as deterrent to others. Five, urge all security agencies in the country to partner and work out modality best suitable for the tackling insecurity as a movement. Look at it.
Any second. Engineer Sanibala.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Engineer Sanibala. I represent Kunchi Sanya constituency from Kano State. Yes. But the Speaker has recognized that and he has asked me to go ahead. So, with the leave of the Speaker, I can go ahead. So, I rise to second the motion as heavily moved by the honorable member. I so move.
Everybody that move your lead the debate.
On the 12th day of July, 2019, I received close to 200 text messages on my phone informing me about the death of Mrs. Olakunrin Olufunke, the daughter of a 94-year-old man in Akure. The incident occurred at Ojibo local government, but the person involved is from Akure local government. I was told after investigation that she came to Akure to make a visit to the father and left that money to go back to Lagos. But along Ore, Benin Road, near the railway, I learned that some bandits came out from the bush, armed, in front of her, shooting the commuters there with their vehicles. She now instructed the driver to turn back to escape death. Unfortunately to her, she never knew that right at the back, there are other hoodlums right in the bush here on the other part of the road. They came out, shot at her, and before you know it, the bullet hit her by the thigh. Before the police could get there, she has wasted a lot of blood. And before she was rushed to the hospital, she died along the way. So painful, Mr. Speaker. After that same day that I had that news on my constituency, believe me, my God, I've not slept for 3 hours in each of the days I lie down on my bed. Because it became worrisome in this country, Mr. Speaker, that most of our constituents can no longer sleep with their 2 eyes closed. How long do we continue like this? I want to employ the Honorable House to please act as resolved in my petition, and 2, do something urgent to curb this kind of thing in our society. as I am talking to you, Mr. Speaker, there are protests in my constituency against this deadly act. I keep sending messages to them to hold on for me, but then they review my messages. I want to beg of this House to please do something urgent so that these killings all over the places will not lead to a regional war. It will not lead to a regional war because people are getting bitter about it every day. So, Mr. Speaker, those are my prayers, and thank you for allowing me to do it. Now, before I go, Mr. Speaker, let me appreciate you, because I learned to send the condolence message to the bereaved. May your days be long, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Mayowa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Mayowa Akipolari. I represent Ile-Oluji Oke-Igbo, Odigbo Federal Constituency. I am from the Sunshine State, Ondo. Mr. Speaker, this incident is not only sad, it is very barbaric and very disheartening. And I would like to use this opportunity to sympathize with Pashorancy or the damage of our daughter. And I will equally use this opportunity to pray to God to continue to console the families of other families that lost their loved ones to armed robbery, kidnapping, and other vices. Mr. Speaker, sometimes it is very disheartening and very embarrassing when we move motions as rightly said by you on daily basis pertaining to kidnapping, and we are not doing anything concrete, anything tangible to see that we resolve this issue. And I would like to salute your courage, your political sagacity for taking it upon yourself by way of coming with some solutions. Because it is in the past, you hear people saying, the executive should be blamed, the government should be blamed. And the Constitution is very clear on this issue, that the three arms of government will come together, complement one another to ensure that there is good governance, that they will work together to ensure that properties and lives of citizens of this country are adequately protected. Mr. Speaker, I say thank you for taking it upon yourself by initiating a move, a very solid move for that matter. And as a way of complementing your effort, Mr. Speaker, I want this House, as a matter of urgency, to put in place a platform that will ensure that, yes, we don't have state police. You made mention of community policing. We must make laws that will legalize community policing, that will allow federal government to fund and recruit people. Security is not the business of one person. When we have community properly put in place, you will have the obas, the emirs, all the traditional rulers will be involved, the police will be involved, the hunters within that vicinity will be involved, the vigilantes will be involved, the good boys around the areas will be involved. So there's no bad boys. So I'm saying thank you for that move. Then outside that, Mr. Speaker, we must do things that will unite us in this country. We must not continue to say things that will divide us. Some will say, Fulani herdsmen. I grew up to know some of the Fulani herdsmen to be very patriotic people. I grew up to know some of them that they are into some legitimate business or businesses, and they earn legitimate money. It is absolutely wrong, because we cannot say because one Oyenusi happens to be a Yoruba man that all the Yoruba people are armed robbers. But I will equally appeal to the Metiala Cattle Association rather than engaging people, rather than giving unnecessary ultimatum, they should strive very hard to ensure that their members, the bad ones among them, that they are fished out. Because it is not enough to say Mikiala is giving ultimatum, fighting federal government, fighting other ethnic groups. But they must do everything possible to show to the world that not all of them are bad. That we still have some good ones amongst them. That is the other aspect. Mr. Speaker, the other aspect is this. How did we come to this level? That people can no longer sleep well. That people cannot go about their responsibility without fear of intimidation. If you look at the attitude of people saddled with responsibility of governance in this country, you will be afraid, you will be amazed, in the sense that yes, you see some political office holders, maybe at the local government level, the state level, we should ask them, as a local government chairman, as a governor, what are you doing with your security vote? Is it because federal government that is having the whole responsibility of protecting people? As chairman, you have security vote, and that money is meant to protect your people. If you are not doing it, if something is happening, something terrible is happening within your domain, it means you are afraid. In fact, if not for what you said, I wanted to make it very clear that the executive, the judiciary, the legislature, in fact, particularly the legislature, if not for your statement, I wanted to say that we are all competent. But you have exonerated all of us because of the innovation you are bringing into leadership in this house. So I want to end it by saying political office holders to watch their way of life. There are so many unemployed people around us. You see people going to office with they use borrowed cards to resume office. As soon as they get there within 1 year, either as the minister, either as the chairman, they turn themselves to as if they have billions, while they flaunt their wealth in the front of people. While we have so many people who are unemployed, some cannot even go to school. The ones with money, instead of assisting those ones that cannot go to school, they will send their own kids to London, America. But they are forgetting that the money you are investing on those ones you are sending to London or America, the ones you are neglecting, you have abandoned, will eventually destroy the investment made on the people sent abroad. Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal that we should all be sensitive to our environment and that see security problem as a collective responsibility. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Please press your mic, Honorable Makinde. Press the green button on your console. Yes, Honorable Makinde, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to lend my voice as far as...
Honorable Makinde, followed by Honorable Emeoji and Honorable Ben Igbapa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, permit me to... My name is Honorable Abiola Peter Makinde. I represent the good people of Ondo East, Ondo West Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I come from Ondo State. Permit me to lend my voice based on the motion that was moved by Honorable Omolafe, and also to sympathize with the family of the Fashoratis. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, as far as insecurity is concerned in Nigeria, Mr. Speaker, as far as insecurity is concerned in Nigeria, when we talk about corruption, Mr. Speaker, most people would think that corruption is synonymous with money, finances, some kind of issues that has to do with money. But Mr. Speaker, if a man knows what to do and fails to do it, the Webster Dictionary defines corruption as dishonest and illegal behavior from powerful people. That's the definition of corruption. If you know what to do, as a former general in the army or as a commissioner of police, you know what to do to curb insecurity in Nigeria, and you fail to do it, that's corruption. That is corruption. We shouldn't say that corruption, money, money, money. Certain people in Nigeria know what to do. I have schooled in Nigeria, and I have schooled outside this Nigeria. Both in Nigeria, in the United States, in London, we have been all around the world. We came home to serve this country. However, we now live in fear. We can't fly through our roads again. We cannot even drive around in Nigeria again. The Nigeria that our parents were born. The labors of our heroes past, Mr. Speaker, let it not be in vain. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? How long shall they kill our prophets when we know exactly what to do? Mr. Speaker, I want to really commend you, because I know that you and many of our colleagues here were not part of those who are corrupt. But I want this honorable house to make a difference. Ninth Assembly should be different from Seventh Assembly, should be different from Eighth Assembly, should be different from Sixth Assembly. We need to do something. If not, this assembly will just go without any impact. This assembly will just go, 4 years will just go, and none of us will be remembered. Can we remember who were here Sixth Assembly? Can we remember those who were here Fifth Assembly? The same thing will be for us, the Ninth Assembly, if we don't do something. Nigerians will not remember us. Mr. Speaker, it is saddening that our roads are full of several bandits, whether you call it X-Men or whatever have you, but we are no longer saved. It was God who saved us last week. We will have been consumed by these people in this chamber. They went through the first gate of the security. They went through the second gate. The only gate that is left was this gate here. They bombarded the one that was close to us here, but they couldn't get to this chamber. It was God who saved us. Are we going to leave this Ninth Assembly without doing anything? How long shall they kill all our prophets while we stand aside and do? Some say it's just part of it. But Mr. Speaker, we must go back to the book and challenge those who are supposed to secure us. It is part of corruption. I'm not saying that they are corrupt, but whoever failed to do what they're supposed to do, they are corrupt. They are corrupt. 90-something years old lost his daughter. Now we read in the news, Mr. Speaker, in the newspaper that, oh, they found those who did it. What if it's our sister? What if it's a man that knows nobody? They will have died. And nobody will have found who did it. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for the Zamfara trip. You are not a corrupt man. I want you to move more to make sure that the executive arm of this government do something about insecurity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and may God bless Nigeria.
Honorable Benny Bakwa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Roland Igbakwa. I represent Ethiopians and Ethiopians. by the grace of God, we are from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, this is one death too many. Every day we wake up and the first thing that greets us is killing of our brothers and our sisters. Mr. Speaker, there's a loud drum resonating from the west to the east, from the south to the north. Mr. Speaker, this drum is speaking one word, and we must be careful, sir, that we dance on the side of sense. Mr. Speaker, there are people that are saddled with the responsibility of protecting us in this country. But unfortunately, the security agencies have no solution. The federal government have no solution. And like somebody said, we are partners in progress. As legislators, we must do something. Because if we don't do something, Mr. Speaker, the people will resort to self-help, and that we cannot afford. Mr. Speaker, some time ago during your inaugural speech, you told us that Nigerians are waiting. And I want to add today, Nigerians are watching. We must do something. We must speak out. We must take decisions. At times, like you said, we have to shake the table. Mr. Speaker, the people are speaking loud and clear that here, Nigerians and our government has failed to secure our people, because the primary responsibility of every government is to secure lives and property. And that we know the Nigerian state have not been able to do. Today we are happy, we are celebrating, despite the grief, that our sister is a child of a known person. What about the Kalatuas, the small man that was killed in Abraka last week, the other man that was slaughtered in Uvara, that today nobody is talking for them. So many of our people are dying every day. And we as a parliament, we must rise up and speak to help Nigeria out of this predicament. We can't afford it, because the next thing that will happen, Mr. Speaker, the drum is getting louder by the day. And one day, the bubble will burst. And when it bursts, we are over 200 million Nigerians. We have nowhere to run to. We have just one country that we must try as much as possible to protect. And if we cannot protect it, Cameroon cannot contain Nigeria. Ghana cannot contain Nigeria. So let us know that we have one nation. And the people that are saddled with this responsibility of protecting us, Mr. Speaker, they must rise up and do their job. And if they cannot do it, I don't see any reason. So many people are qualified to head our security agencies. I don't see any reason where we do the same thing every day and expect the same result. It is only somebody that is not too sound that will do the same thing and expect different results. Mr. Speaker, we need results from our security agencies. They have failed us, and they cannot continue to sit there. It is time to make a change. If one is not doing it, I am sure a lot of well-trained policemen, the police is trying, I must give it to them with the new IG, the military, there are people trained within them. They are not the best. They are not the only ones in Nigeria. If they cannot help us, let's get other people to help us before Nigeria take helping themselves on their own. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Olajide.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Adedeji Samuel Olajide, member representing Ibadan Northwest Southwest Federal Constituency. Permit me to say I stand in solidarity with my brother, Honorable Molafe, Honorable Makinde, and all the other members from Ondo State. Allow me also to say the matter that we have in our hands today, it's a matter of national importance, something that we must take very, very seriously, because tomorrow it will be one of us that will be under attack. Every week, it's become the norm in this country that people of different hybrid, of different pedigree are being killed and wasted. If this was supposed to be something that is happening in the United States or somewhere in the Western world, a national disaster, a national emergency would have been called, where you will have soldiers on the roads guiding our highways. But today, we still see here us depending on highway patrol and understaffed police agency to protect us. As a matter of importance and urgency, Mr. Speaker, I want to encourage, or I want to make a recommendation to you that we seek a national declaration from the President to deploy soldiers on our roads. We are not fighting any war right now. They're sitting in barracks, not doing anything, while our people are dying. Mr. Speaker, I know you're a man that listens. The cry of our people is that something must be done, and done right away. My recommendation to you, my submission to you, so that we don't continue to lose our people, is that we make a declaration to the President, to the entire country, that we are going to deploy soldiers to protect our highways. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and my very honorable colleagues. My name is Uchuchukwu Namudi, and I represent the good people of Ahoda West, Oba Ibrahim and Johnny Federal Constituency. I'm from River State. Mr. Speaker, this will not be the 100th time that we have to deliberate on matters of insecurity. It's quite unconscionable that we have our brothers and sisters killed and mowed down as though they were rabbits. We know that the Constitution 33 guarantees the right to life. And Section 14B also guarantees that the security of life and property should be paramount in the functions of government. Mr. Speaker, it is with a very sad note, it's on a sad note that I commiserate with my brothers, and our sympathies go to the family who just lost one of their daughters. This is a murder that is so gory, gruesome, and is avoidable. I would like to say that we're on the precipice. Nigeria, as it's been won everywhere, we have a former president who even said that we are handling it with cordling gloves. If we're not careful, a time will come when we will not be able to sit here. I said this in the 8th Assembly, and I'm saying it again now. We need to rise to the occasion. Mr. Speaker, I want to use this opportunity to call on you to set up a committee. We have a group of heads of security who are not doing what is expected. We need fresh ideas. We need them to give way for people who would ensure that the safety of life and property in Nigeria is paramount. And I'm also using this opportunity to call on our president to take this very seriously. If we have no Nigeria, we will have no president. If we have no Nigeria, we will not have a wonderful speaker as we have. If we have no Nigeria, we will not have members who would converge every morning to come and legislate on the matters. We say the people's house, yes, but we need to rise and ensure the security of life and property is paramount. It's across this nation. There's hardly any part of the country that is safe. Now we have the UK who is legislating on our matter. They are talking about it even in the US. How long are we going to sit down here and wake up, and whenever we come here, we rise for a moment of silence? It has happened one too many times. And there has to be an action, something very positive that will ensure that we come here. So just the other day, we had our own part of it. Imagine if something had happened to any member. We'll rise to another minute of silence. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to use this opportunity to reiterate the fact that we as a people need to be safe. And the buck stops on the chief executive. We know we have our part to do, but he needs to rise to the occasion. He needs to openly condemn what is happening in Nigeria. Now they are alluding it to regional politics, regional and cultural affiliations. We are not naming names. We know that we should have our diversity as our strength, rather than have it the other way. I thank you for this opportunity, and may you be attended with health. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Bagos.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Dachum Bagos, representing the good people of the South, Just East Federal Constituency of the great and peaceful state of Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, it is so worrisome that some of us coming into the National Assembly as first-timers, we have monitored proceedings of the House from 6, 7, 8 Assembly, and today we're in the 9th Assembly. And what I am still seeing is what we have been monitoring on TV years after years, discussing the issues of insecurity in this country without a concrete solution. Resolutions have been made. At the end of the day, we will not see the impact of the discussion that is being made on the floor of the House. Every day, they will be telling us that perpetrators will be brought to book. The book of the perpetrators is still empty, while the books of those that are being killed every day is in volumes. For how long will we continue speaking and saying the same thing every day? Mr. Speaker, it's time for the House to provide leadership. It's time for the House to see what can we do as a people, as a representative of the people from the 36 states, Mr. Speaker. I must commend you for going to Zamfara, sitting with the warring factors. That is one of the steps the House is now providing leadership. I would recommend, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues, that if this House will agree, let there be a public hearing on the issue of insecurity in Nigeria. From the public hearing, we will now know that these people will come to the public hearing, they will give their own various solutions. Let's not sit down and the executive will always promise us that perpetrators will be brought to book. And I believe from the public hearing, Mr. Speaker, with the way you have taken the issue of the insecurity, trying to bring and unite us in this country, recommendation from the public hearing, the House will follow it, and we will have a solution as a House. Just like the previous speakers have said, let the 9th Assembly so show some level of difference. That after our 1,456 days in this House, let it be that one of the days we have taken a step that will unite this country, a step that will make Nigeria be peaceful, a step that the issue of insecurity in this country will be brought to an end forever. Let it be that this House will be that which the national anthem said, that the labor of our heroes past will not be in vain. After the 9th Assembly, we will be heroes, and our labor will never be in vain. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Naji, please. Knowledge.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Honorable Nolim Naji, Kano East West Federal Constituency. I'm from Enugu State. Mr. Speaker, thank you for giving me the opportunity to contribute. I'll make it very simple. We have been talking about crimes, fighting corruption. We have been talking about, well, generally, Mr. Speaker, I want to state that the President of Nigeria cannot solve this problem. The governor cannot solve this problem. The members of National Assembly cannot solve this problem. The security agencies cannot solve the problem. Mr. Speaker, I believe there's only one way to solve this problem. And that way is, if we can come together under this 9th Assembly, let us fight corruption. Mr. Speaker, if we fight corruption, it's going to reduce this problem we are having. It's going to reduce crime. It's going to improve on welfare of the people. As long as we continue to talk about these issues, we'll continue to have this problem every day until we make up our mind that all hands must be on deck to fight corruption. That is my submission, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Ibrahim Arakuni Jata is the name. I represent the very good people of for Ecological Federal Constituency. I'm from Ogun State, Mr. Speaker. Throughout the 8th Assembly, there used to be one single sentence for this occasion. We keep saying recurrent decimal. I don't know what language we want to use this time around. I am defeated to say that nothing has changed. Instead, it's going to bring more precarious. And since Nigeria of today, we've moved out of the green, yellow alert to red alert. That's the home truth. The oxygen we breathe in is like COVID now, because anybody's life is just being manipulated at will. Mr. Speaker, I want to be very emphatic today, sir, by saying that police alone cannot, in any way, in this country, police effectively the safety of our citizenry. I know many of us, the whalers, each time they mention military, people will start saying that, why do you want to keep military? They belong to the barracks, they belong to the bush. And keeping them at bay is what is giving the bandits the leeway to perpetrate most of these heinous crimes in our society. Mr. Speaker, again, because there are no consequences for those at the helms of affairs to secure our lives. If you go back to the time of King Hammurabi of Babylon in the 18th century, if you are the chief security officer of a place and somebody dies due to your carelessness and you are in charge, the king's law at that time was that the first son of the person should be killed. I'm sure it's because things like this are not happening these days. That is the simple reason that we will say we have chief of this, chief of that, governor of this, governor of that in charge of security, and our lives become so chiefless, careless like that of the chicken. So, Mr. Speaker, we have stood more than 500 hours in this chamber observing 1 minute silence for nearly everybody. And I want to pray this does not continue. There should just be one and simple way forward. Since we've been talking about the security challenges in this country, there was no time anyone had ever come up to tell us the root cause analysis and they follow it end to end for solution. Every time, even police, what they tell us, we are on the trail of the perpetrators. We shouldn't catch them. They are in the police net. That's not how to manage security architecture. I'm not a security personnel, but I've been in the helm of affairs that have controlled more than 500 people on board vessels every time of my life. And I have been so responsible for their lives and safety, because if anything happens to anyone, the company will sack me. But we have our chief of staff, we have our chief of this, chief of that, and no one has changed them, no one has penalized them, no one has sacked them, no one has even changed them. So I think they have stayed too long to secure our lives, Mr. Speaker. And something must be done, and it should be done now. Not until when we stand up again to say we want to stand for 1 minute silence for any other person. May God not let this happen again. We should go back, sit down, really know the root cause analysis of what is happening in this country. We are on red alert, Mr. Speaker. Real red alert. You have been to Savara. I don't know where you are going to be in Ondo. God forbid that you are going to be in rivers, you are going to be, just because of all these carnages. We cannot continue. There should be a stop to it, Mr. Speaker. And I'm very sorry for my outburst. It's just simply because it's heart-touching. And Nigeria is money. Let me put it that way. Thank you very much, sir.
Honorable Adebumi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues. Adebumi said is my name. I represent the good people of Surulere Gumbua Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Oyo State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, honestly, this is the sad moment for this nation. And there's need for us to look at this matter holistically in order to come up with a very fantastic solution to this problem. Mr. Speaker, killings all over the land. There's blood all over the land, Mr. Speaker. Last weekend, you were in Safara. There's another senator from the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Abu, who also reported killing of his stepmother. All over the land, everywhere, south, west, north. Mr. Speaker, this is a serious problem that we need to solve. And I don't know if there's no more political will for us to face this and solve it once. We have our chiefs, chief of army staff, chief of navy, they are there. Mr. Speaker, it seems to be they have exhausted what they can give for this nation. Yes, we keep on saying the same problem on a daily basis. Boko Haram problem is still there. There's no more solution, no any solution has been given to us. Let us invite these chiefs. Let them give us the reason why all this is happening. There's evidence there. The majority of our allocation has been given for the security reason in order to save this nation. Mr. Speaker, many of us are armless. Many of us have nobody to even secure us. There are masses of this nation who are dying without nobody is mentioned at their name. The reason why Mrs. Olakurin is being mentioned is because of his influence and his attached to being the daughter of one of our elderly persons in the Southwest. Mr. Speaker, how many people have been guided and nobody there are masses. But this problem continues and we need to have a solution to this problem. Mr. Speaker, even political office holders have been, you go back to the electorate after 4 years. So I imagine what our teams are sitting there if they cannot give solution to this problem. Let's give them another, the young officers opportunity to bring solution to our problem. And also, we must look into the economic problem of this nation. Unemployment issues. There's need for us to create jobs. Because if our youth are engaged, many of them will not embark on this suicide mission. Mr. Speaker, we need to go. I want to support the submission of one of my colleagues here. That there needs to be a public hearing on the security of this nation, inviting many people to come and make a contribution, and so that we can come up with a solution and recommend it to the executive. Otherwise, this is how we continue making a resolution on the floor of the House and nothing will happen. I'm so sorry. I register my condolence with the family. I believe God will protect all of us that remain. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity I so many.
Thank you, Honorable Wojo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. My name is Honorable Bumi Tunjeju from Akoko Northeast, Northwest, Federal Constituency of Ondo State. Mr. Speaker, permit me to say, nothing has tested the faith of our people in Ondo State since 1983, like what happened last weekend. The whole state is down. Protests are happening everywhere. I think rather than continue to do the blame games, we need, as a house, to prefer possible solutions. Number one, we have to review the intelligence gathering mechanism of our country. All over the world, some of us, we had experience in intelligence agencies other than this country. We know that defense mechanisms all over the world is now proactive. It's preventive rather than corrective or detective. What we have in Nigeria today is basically trying to find reasons why, medicine after death. And the only solution to this has to do with intelligence gathering. We have the DSS, we have the NIS for foreign organizations. We have the DSS, we have the DMI, and so many intelligence gathering organizations. We need to know some of these things are very preventable. It's unfortunate that a country like Nigeria, the giant of Africa, the lion of Africa, cannot even protect its own jungle. I want to say this, Mr. Speaker. As a matter of fact, we need to review the security architecture of this country.
Honorable Benson, please take your seat.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We need to review the security architecture of this country. Then we need to invest more in intelligence gathering, most especially in the area of social engineering, using human resources to get sensitive information. Nigeria is not at war externally, but...
Honorable Benson, please approach the chair.
But Nigeria, we are at war internally. Mr. Speaker, I want to say this. Nothing has tested the resolve, the collective resolve of all the ethnic groups in Nigeria, like the security situation we're experiencing at this particular point in time. We have to manage it well for this country to get to the level we all pray it will get to. I want to beg this, I want to plead with this House to set up a public hearing, as we have said, especially in areas of intelligence gathering, number one. Then number two, our service chiefs, I think the House needs to invite them. We need to know what they are doing, because they've been appointed for 4 years, since 2015, and I said that security has been deteriorating over this period. When you are given a job to do, you should be evaluated based on your performance on the job. And at the moment, it is not rocket science to know that security is deteriorating in our country. Mr. Speaker, lastly, I want this House to also pay more attention to the issue of employment, as we have said. Because unemployment is the greatest cause of insecurity. When people are not employed, people, either rightly or wrongly, people will look for alternatives. And we know that part of the major problem we have with regards to unemployment is that jobs that are available, even federal government jobs, are available even to people in the cities. People in these other rural areas, they don't get this opportunity. And we know that Section 3, subsection 2 of the ND Act of 1991 clearly elicits this problem to avoid rural-urban migration, that the National Directorate of Employment is to be a clearinghouse for jobs available in Nigeria in collaboration with other agencies. It is the responsibility of NDE to make vacancies available to people within the rural areas and give equal opportunity to Nigerians wherever they are. Insecurity is getting more rampant in the rural areas other than the urban areas, which used to be the reverse. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I would like to say this very clearly, that this House, as a matter of urgency, needs to revisit the bill that was passed by the 8th Assembly, which is the Security Trust Fund also. And every corporate organization in Nigeria has to have financial contribution to security fund. It is mandatory. In the field of information technology, all IT companies, all telecommunication companies, all banks, all insurance companies, they pay what we call the NITDA fund, which is 1% of profit before tax. In the oil and gas industry, companies above that for contracts above $1 million, they pay 1% to what we call the Local Content Development Act. We can only develop our local content. We can only develop our IT sector if there is security. Security is not cheap anywhere in the world. We need to revisit source of revenue for the Security Trust Fund. Equip our military, equip our police, and most importantly, go on preventive intelligence gathering rather than detective or corrective mechanisms. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the unique opportunity.
Okay. Honorable Balogun, after that we'll wrap up this particular debate. Honorable Balogun.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Prince Adebayo Balogun, representing the Lekki Federal Constituency of Lagos State. Yeah, I'm happy the past speaker just spoke about intelligence gathering. That has been the greatest weapon we are not using. And there's no way we can really talk about intelligence gathering with the system of policing we have. Every time we've been avoiding the major issue, state policing. If you don't go state policing or community policing at the worst, there is no way you can actually gather intelligence. You talk in the house, you talk about ranking officers. That means people who are here for a longer period, gather experience. The Rolling Stone, they say gather no more. You carry people from Zamfara to Lagos. These are serious, different security architecture. Security is local. What is in Ibejuleki is different from what is in Sokoto. There are different crimes. You must have people who understand the terrain. Even if you are not going to go for state police, if you're talking about community policing, it's different from what the police are saying. Community policing, to my own definition, should be you get employed in a locality, you retire in that locality. No more posting of police everywhere. Posting of police today is based on favorism. Take some people to the lucrative areas and take some people to the desert. It's no longer a professional team. If you want to be a police officer in Lagos, get employed in Lagos, whoever you are. You stay in Lagos and you retire in Lagos. You understand the system in Lagos. I was a former council chairman. There was a day I was moving within my local government, and I got to a checkpoint very close to my office. The police stopped me, asked questions and all the rest. I wasn't annoyed that they were asking questions. But even the police in my own locality does not even know my vehicle. I had to talk about intelligence gathering. You don't even identify people. You don't even identify vehicles of VIPs. Even I, as a council chairman, you don't even know me, you don't even know my vehicle. Then how do you know this country within the area? If you go to Europe and all the rest, you see officers that once they see a new person in town, they identify a new person in town. That's how you gather intelligence. So as long as we still, if we put more money, Lagos State has a security trust fund. We waste so much money in training officers in Lagos State, only for them to be taken over to another state in the next 1 year. Recently, the reshufflement has been done in Lagos State. Officers who have spent 5 years have been taken to other states. So all our investment in all of them is not a waste. We buy vehicles for officers. Sometimes they take it to their next posting. So no matter what you do, as long as they keep posting people here and there, security is not what you should be carrying people here and there. If you don't want to face the main issue, and we still want to run around it, if you want to face the police, state policing or community policing, as supposed to be, then we will continue. The service chief cannot do anything on their own. The service chief will work with officers. You can only work with officers that understand the terrain. So I will appeal to this house to go back ensure we compel this issue of state policing or community policing in a way that will ensure that people are employed and serve throughout their tenure in a particular community. Secondly, unemployment, because the major unemployment that we are even having now is the one within the rural areas. The farmers are getting out of job with these farmers' header scratches. The farmers too are even seeing that instead of me getting my investment being wasted every time, and they are also seeing this lucrative business of kidnapping and all the rest. Some of them are now joining because a farmer who is no longer secured in his own farm will also look for another means of sustaining himself. So it's now creating additional means of different vices. They say an idle mind is a devil, an idle hand is the devil workshop. Many people now in the rural areas now are taking up to crime because those who are doing it have no reprimands, and some of them believe that is now the way to go. So I pray and I urge this house to ensure that we look into these farmer headers classes seriously, so that many more people within the rural areas will not get into this crime. So thank you so much, sir.
Any amendments to the motion? Honorable Halim, do you have an amendment? Amendments. We're taking amendments now. It's 2:30, and we are not even on the other paper yet. Honorable, what's your amendment?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Egberongbe Mufta Wadewale, Apapa Federal Constituency. Whilst I commiserate with the family of the deceased, I want to pray that the word herdsman be deleted from this motion and replaced with unknown gunmen. This is premised on the fact that until adequate investigation is carried out, we don't prone this to a particular ethnic group, so that we don't end up finding ethnic discord amongst the people of the same nation. The second lecture is that we introduce CCTV cameras that our street lights are laced with CCTV cameras, so that we can begin to monitor or suspected movements of people with the aim and view to nipping involved criminality. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Honorable Agwere has two amendments. First one being that we delete the word herdsman from the motion until and replace it with unknown gunmen until investigation is properly concluded. Any seconder to the motion? Honorable Nasir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Nasir Ali Ahmed. I represent National Federal Constituency and I'm from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the amendment as ably moved by my honorable colleague. I so support.
Those in support of the amendment, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Gwere's second amendment is that the streets or our streets should be lined with CCTV cameras so that movements are monitored and crimes are prevented. Those in the seconder for that amendment? Honorable Alims.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am in support of that amendment, little amendment, sir. If I can go ahead, Mr. Speaker.
You want to amend the amendment? Are you seconding this amendment? You seconded it? Okay, those in support of the amendment, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Halims, you have an amendment.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, my amendment will come in the way of contribution. I was not allowed to do so because principally crimes are committed everywhere in the world. The most important thing is enforcement of relevant laws that deals with crime. As it happens in Saudi Arabia, every indigene knows the punishment that comes along whenever crimes are committed. In Nigeria, it appears that there are no awareness, or people are not fully aware of the consequences of committing crimes. Killings are taking place in our homes, in our neighborhoods, in our offices, in our farms, along the highways. Sorry. Okay, sir.
Do you have an amendment? Honorable Halims, do you have an amendment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You were trying to contribute. You don't have an amendment.
Enforcement of relevant laws should take place so that those people committing this crime can know what they are doing and the consequence of doing it. Thank you.
I think Honorable Halims' amendment is that we enforce all relevant laws already in place. Any seconder? Honorable Tuji Kwara. Any seconder? Change his mind. There are many seconders on this side. Honorable, go ahead and second, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Ademorin Aliukuye. I represent the Shomolu Federal Constituency. I'm from Lagos State. I rise to second the amendment that calls for the enforcement of relevant laws that deals with crime in this country. And in seconding it, I wish to state. I told second.
Please allow him to state. He's from Lagos. Those in support of the amendment, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Ifeanyi, you have an amendment? Okay. Honorable Bagos, an amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Remain Dachim Bagos, the South Just East Federal Constituency of the good people of Plateau State. My amendment to the prayer, sir, is that the House resolve to conduct a public hearing on the state of insecurity in Nigeria in line with your passion for the House to be able to champion bringing out a solution to the rate of insecurity. So my amendment to the prayer that the House resolve to conduct a public hearing on the rate of insecurity in Nigeria. I so submit, sir.
Honorable Dr. Adejare.
Mr. Speaker, thank you so much. I am Honorable Dr. Samuel Babatunde Adejare. I represent Agege Federal Constituency. I'm from Lagos State. I stand to second the motion approved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Abejide in the House. Move your amendment, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My names are Honorable Leke Joseph Abejide, representing people of Yagba Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Kogi State. My amendment of two legs. One of them was what Honorable Adams is trying to say. I want us to make issue of criminality, especially banditry, kidnapping, raping, a capital offense. Secondly, I hope I'm not making any mistake. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Secondly, sir, I want us to look at the way of recruitment in our military outfits, to base it basically on merit, not on tribalism or favoritism. You discover that we have adjunct military officers these days, because most of them join military with the intention to become governors, to become military ministers, but they were not prepared for war when they were recruited. So we need to change the way of recruitment into these forces, both police and the military, so that we can have a firm military officers that are ready for battle, not the ones that are looking for money. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
The first amendment to classify certain offenses or criminal offenses as capital offenses, which you know what that means, attraction of, you know exactly what that means. I think is, I don't think we can do that by way of motion. If you believe in that, I mean, if the House does, I think you should bring it by way of an amendment to the criminal law itself to make it a capital offense. It's the law itself that we need to amend. We cannot do that here by way of motion. But on the second amendment, is there any seconder? Any seconder? Honorable Alims, yes, because he supported you first. Yeah. Honorable Alims, Kogi and Kogi.
Your Excellency, my Speaker, and my honorable colleagues, my names are Honorable Abdullah Ibrahim Alims. I rise to second the amendment as moved by Honorable Leke Adejide. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Go and ask.
I can't even remember. What exactly was that amendment again?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
No. I'm asking Honorable Alims, not you. Honorable Alims, what was the amendment? Can you refresh our memory? Those in support of the amendment say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, point of order.
Point of order.
I think I put across to you that what we stand to do is a constitutional matter. I thought you have got my signal. The one we just amended is a constitutional matter. There's a federal character law already existing. So if anybody has anything to do about it, it should go by way of amending act.
No, are you talking about Abedine's first amendment? Eh? Oh, recruitment. Yes, that's a constitutional matter. Okay, so if that is a constitutional matter, and we've already put the question, because it's a constitutional matter, so we have to be very mindful of that. Can somebody move, and I think I agree with it, can somebody move very quickly, suspend our rules and move for rescission of that last question or amendment? Very quickly, Honorable Adebo, we move for rescission, move for suspension of our rules and the rescission of that last, because it's a constitutional matter. He is absolutely correct.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Honorable Musekum is my name. I represent the good people of Surulere Federal Constituency. I rise to move that the House those suspend our relevant law in order to take decision on our just amendment, because it's time to be a constitutional matter. Going further with it, we are going to have a confusion in the Constitution. I so move.
Any seconder? Honorable, please second.
Taiwo Adewale is my name. I am representing the Akwa East Federal Constituency area of Oyo State. I have a right to second the amendment of suspension of our rules to resign the already agreed resolution to the amendment. Thanks, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable, we're rescinding, or rather, we're asking to suspend the rules because normally the motion for rescission would be brought on notice. Rather than wait for us to do that, it's better we do it right here and now. So those who are in support that we suspend our rules for him to move the motion for rescission, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Motion to rescind.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleague. I remain Honorable Olusegun. I move that the House take decision on the just concluded amendment in order not to have a confusion with the Constitution of the Federal Republic. I so move.
Any seconder? Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Dr. Richard Bandi. I represent the people of Katsina Ala, Okum, Logo Federal Constituency, Benue State. I rise to second the motion moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support that will rescind the last amendment, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Sorry, very quickly, Honorable Abide, can you restate that amendment again? I'm trying to see if there's a possibility how you can recouch it. What was the amendment exactly? Exactly, as it was the second one.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Leke Abejide, member representing the Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, from Kogi State. What I was trying to say on the amendment is the way and manner that the recruitment exercise into Army, Navy, Police, and other forces in Nigeria is taking place is very, very wrong. Some people believe that if they are not from a particular ethnic group, it is very difficult for them to go into Army. And by doing that, some of them have gone to the extent of changing their state of origin. So, it's not that they are not qualified, but maybe you are not from one general or you know one past president, or you know one senator, it will be difficult for you to get into the forces. I remember around 1994.
So what do you want us to do about it?
To be on merit, purely on merit. Once you are qualified, they have tested you, you are physically fit, you are mentally fit. It doesn't matter where you come from.
Okay, I thought there was a way I don't think we can save that amendment, because what you are asking for us is to amend the issue of federal character. That's basically it. That's a constitutional amendment. We can amend it, but it's a constitutional amendment. It's a constitutional amendment. We can amend it if the House so desires, but it's a constitutional amendment. So we'll wait for constitutional amendments. Thank you. Do we put the question? Those in favor of the motion as amended, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Who's raising a point of order? Are we fine? What's your point of order?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Barrister Ifeanyi Chudimoma, and I represent the good people of Ihiala Federal Constituency. I am from Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise under Order 8, Rule 4, matters of urgent public interest, to move a motion which indeed, in all facets, is a matter of urgent public interest. Mr. Speaker, I similarly crave the indulgence of this honorable House, and I ask for the leave of the House so that this motion, which borders on matter of urgent public interest, can be considered and taken immediately. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker. It is on the urgent need to monitor the execution and the implementation of the zonal intervention programs and the sustainable development goals across the 360 federal constituencies in Nigeria. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Ifeanyi, I want us to be mindful of the time. So 10 minutes to 3. The issue of zonal intervention, we discussed this during the executive session. So I think what we're trying to achieve, we've addressed it to a large extent. But if you also want us to discuss it thoroughly and give it because it's a serious issue, implementation is always a serious issue, whether it's zonal intervention or anything in the budget, is always a serious matter. But something so serious, because you put your motion now, you're just going to move it and we're going to hit the gavel on it. But if you think it needs to be addressed so that they'll understand the impact, I would suggest that we bring it properly for a motion on notice either Thursday or Tuesday next. But we can move it now if you don't want it, if you just want us to put the question immediately because of time.
Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker. It is at your discretion indeed, but I would also crave the indulgence of this House. I know we've discussed the zonal intervention project, but there's a second aspect of it, which has to do with the sustainable development goals that affects the grassroots. So I would crave the indulgence of this House if we can take it. But of course, Mr. Speaker, it is at your discretion if you deem otherwise. Thank you.
Honorable colleagues, let's just bear with our colleague. It seems he's very passionate about this. We'll put the question once he's moved his motion without any debate. I would have thought we should debate it. Any seconder, please. Honorable Ben.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Benjamin Bem Zondu. I represent all the people of Makudi, Buma. I'm from Benue State, the food basket of the nation. And I also represent the unemployed youth of this nation, Mr. Speaker, and this House. I rise to second the motion as raised by the honorable colleague that we discuss the matter of SDG. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and may your days be long.
And yours too, Honorable Ben. Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. You don't want your zonal intervention, the nays have it. Sometimes, this is again born out of experience, and the old members will tell you, no matter how good your motion or bill is, you have to gauge the mood of the House. Engaging the mood of the House, sometimes the chair will advise one way or the other. And I think the mood of the House is pretty obvious now. Honorable colleagues, the business of the day is the presentation of 38 bills. I now invite the clerk to read the short title. Clerk.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, process of crime management against the Adjournment Bill 2019, first reading. Abuja Metropolitan Management Council Adjournment Bill 2019, first reading. Abuja Broadcasting Corporation Adjournment X Bill 2019, first reading. Whistleblowing Protection Bill 2019, first reading. Digital Rights and Freedom Bill 2019, first reading. Indian Customs Service Bill 2019, first reading. FCT University of Science and Technology Apache Establishment Etc. Bill 2019, first reading. Firearms Act Amendment Bill 2019, first reading. Dangerous Weapons Bill 2019, first reading. FCT Customary Costs Act Amendment Bill 2019, first reading. Nigerian Institute of Agriculturist Bill 2019, first reading. Statutory Corporations Modifications Etc. Act Amendment Bill 2019, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria Act, Alteration Bill 2019, first reading. Federal Land Registry Miscellaneous Provisions Act Amendment Bill 2019, first reading. Donkey Export and Killings Prohibition Bill 2019, first reading. Nigerian Institute of Plant Protection Establishment Bill 2019, first reading. Cancer Registry Bill 2019, first reading. Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission Act Amendment Bill 2019, first reading. Public Procurement Act Amendment Bill 2019, first reading. National Youth Welfare Scheme Fund Establishment Bill 2019, first reading. Nigeria National Honors and Merit Awards Commission Bill of 2019, first reading. National Universities Commission Act Amendment Bill 2019, first reading. Tertiary Education Trust Fund Act Amendment Bill 2019, first reading. Federal University of Technology, Kaduna, Establishment Bill 2019, first reading. Federal University of Technology, Lagos, Establishment Bill 2019, first reading. Council of Ministers Evidence Act Amendment Bill 2019, first reading. Nigeria Police Service Bill 2019, first reading. National Center for Women Development Act, Repeal and Enactment Bill 2019, first reading. Nigerian Agency for Foreign Assistance Bill 2019 First Reading. Ministry of Healthcare Management of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2019 First Reading. Nigerian Technical Aid Corps Act Amendment Bill 2019 First Reading. Directorate of Technical Cooperation in Africa Establishment Bill 2019 First Reading. New Partnership for Africa Development Commission Bill 2019 First Reading. Nigerian Tourism Development Authority Act, repeal and enactment bill 2019 first reading. Nigerian Institute of Management Act, amendment bill 2019 first reading. Federal Housing Authority Act, repeal and enactment bill 2019 first reading. Nigerian Iron and Steel Development Act, repeal and enactment bill 2019 first reading. Further Clear Education Omuaron, establishment bill 2019 first reading.
Clerk, I've just noticed that you have about 10 items on the other paper. I've just looked through the other paper. I've just noticed that we have about 10 items on the other paper. I think that's a bit too many, too heavy. Reason being that by the time we take two motions of urgent public importance to get to you can see the mood of the House. After a while, there's diminishing returns. And I think these motions and everything you've listed are very, very important, extremely important. But to get to give this thing the proper and thorough debate that is needed, I think we should limit the items that come on the other paper. And I'll give you a number when we're done. But by the time you put 10, so we're talking about 12 items plus the urgent public importance, you will lose a lot of contribution that we ordinarily will get. So let's take note of that. First order of the day is a motion on reconsideration of outstanding bills from the preceding assembly pursuant to Order 12, Rule 16 of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, standing in the name of Honorable Mohammed Tahir Mongono. Honorable Mongono is invited to move the motion.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohammed Tahir Mongono. I represent Martin Mongono, the Federal Constituency of Borno State. I hereby move for the reconsideration of outstanding bills from the preceding assembly pursuant to Order 12, Rule 16 of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, i.e. the National Orientation Agency Act Amendment Bill 2019, House Bill 12, the National Care Center Kaduna Establishment Bill 2019, House Bill 13, Nigerian Law Reform Commission Act Amendment Bill 2019, House Bill 14. The House notes that pursuant to Order 12 Rule 16 of the Standing Orders of the House, bills passed by the preceding Assembly and forwarded to the Senate for concurrence, for which no concurrence was made or negative, or passed by the Senate and forwarded to the House, for which no concurrence was made or negative, or which were passed by the National Assembly and forwarded to the President for assent, but for which assent or withholding thereof was not communicated before the end of the tenure of the Assembly. The House may resolve that such bills, upon being re-gazetted or clean copies circulated, be reconsidered in the Committee of the Whole without being commenced de novo. Also note that the aforementioned bills were passed by the preceding Assembly and forwarded to the President for assent, but for which assent or withholding thereof was not communicated before the end of the tenure of the last Assembly. Aware that the bills were re-gazetted as House Bills 12, 13, and 14 and read the first time on Tuesday, 2nd July 2019, resolved to commit the bills to the Committee of the Whole for consideration. Thank you.
Any second. Honorable Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name remains Honorable Ecological, and I represent the good club and office in the federal officer from Delta State, and still man of God of the House. I rise to second the motion heavily moved by the Chief Whip, Honorable Mokudu. I so second.
Those in support of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. The second order of the day is a motion on need to assess the African Continental Free Trade Agreement signed by President Muhammad Buhari, standing in the name of Honorable Odebumi Olusegun Doku. Honorable Odebumi is invited to move the motion. Honorable Odebumi, sorry, I'm seeing this motion for the first time. So, it is to assess, I don't know what you mean by assess, the agreement. I haven't had the opportunity to look at what the assessment is, but my first instinct, is if there's an African trade agreement or whatever, it's an international agreement, correct? It's an international agreement. And shouldn't it be brought, an international agreement is more or less a treaty. It's more or less a treaty that should be brought under Section 12 for domestication or a concurrence of the National Assembly. So is that what you are doing? Are you bringing it under Section 12? I should check the body of the motion. Okay. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Honorable Mr. Name. I represent the good people of Surulere of the Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, the motion is coming up for the third time on the notice of the House of Representatives. Fortunately, the Senate also moved the same motion last week after we stepped our home down. Mr. Speaker, means to assess the African Continental Free Trade Agreement signed by President Muhammad Buhari. The House note that the President Muhammad Buhari at the extraordinary section of the Assembly of African Union Heads of the States and Governments in Nigeria Republic on Sunday, 7th July 2019, signed a pact to establish an African Continental Free Trade Agreement on behalf of the government of the people of Nigeria. Also note that the President, while signing the agreement, stated that the Nigerian government will seek to include terms and will engender the development of policies that will promote African production, among other policies. While illustrating that what Africa needs goes beyond trade policy, but includes the manufacturing agenda as well as attracting investment and combating smuggling. Believe that President Buhari deserves commendation for signing the trade agreement with a severe caution on the need to prevent excessive prosperity for importing nations along the coast, while landlocked nations will continue to suffer. The House further notes that Nigeria, as the largest economy in Africa, should, in line with the agreement, define a various way to optimize benefits accruable from the part by ensuring that its export to other African markets surpass its import in order for it to have positive effects on the gross domestic product, balance of the trade payment, and employment generation objective. Also believe that if that is not done, the nation could be turned into dumping ground for the product from other African countries, a development that will be adverse to the nation's microeconomic objectives. We are resolved to commend the President Muhammadu Buhari for taking the step of placing Nigeria in the right place among our colleagues in the continent of Africa.
though the signing of African Continental Trade, through the signing of African Continental Trade Agreement. 2, urge the federal government to set machineries in motion to ensure that Nigeria optimizes expected benefits from the agreement. 3, mandate the Committee on Special Duty and Commerce when considered to ensure implementation. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Luke. Wonderful.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Luke is my name. I speak by the grace of God for the people of Etinan, Nsatibo, Nsurubium Federal Constituency, and I'm from Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues from this wing have mandated me to thank you that your eyes have actually caught the members from this wing today. It's a message that they have asked me to deliver to you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion on notice ably moved by my brother. I so second, sir.
Thank you. Message received. Those in support of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Dami, I don't think there's anything to lead the debate. It's very clear. But what I was trying to say was, this to me is an agreement between countries. It's beyond that, but first and foremost, it is an agreement between countries. It's an agreement between countries, within African countries. Under our laws, as far as I'm concerned, this is good. It's a good motion, but also I think the agreement needs to be brought to the National Assembly for domestication. So yes, we commend the president, and I agree with the prayers, but I think we should also pursue bringing that to the floor for legislative input. Those in support of the motion, Honorable Luke, I know you want to contribute, but it's time. Your motion is very clear on its face. You can lead the debate for a minute, and then we'll take Honorable Luke, and then we'll we'll draw the curtains.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know you are very conscious of the time, but not deciding whatever we're doing is what we want. Mr. Speaker, if you follow the trend, it takes a lot of time before the commander-in-chief agreed to sign with the other countries, even after about 44 countries of Africa have signed it. But notwithstanding, Mr. Speaker, the most important thing that is boggling my mind is about our preparation of this nation to go into this agreement. There are some things that we need to be careful about, otherwise this nation will turn to be a dumping ground for other African finished products, because this agreement is given a trade agreement all over, within African countries, that free movement of ideas, free movement of the finished product within countries that agree on it. So that means from South Africa, product can be brought into the nation, from Nigeria, product can take it to any other African country. But my concern is that Nigerian government should right now have a committee on ground discussing about our moribund companies, discussing about Ajakuta, which you have started in the State Assembly, so that Nigeria also can have a lot of products to be put on the table of other African countries, so that our exports will be more than the import into the nation. If we are not prepared for this and we didn't take care of this, otherwise, instead of this thing to be a blessing to us, it will turn to be another thing, God forbid. Mr. Speaker, creating a job for Nigerians can be achieved through this if we really go through to it. If we really pursue it, and we have a straight agenda for it, and the government of the nation is ready to implement according to whatever recommendation
the committee set up recommended for them. I told you, Mr. Speaker, for other colleagues to bring their contribution. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Luke.
Mr. Speaker, Onofia Orpan Luke, by the grace of God, I speak for the people of the Tinan, the Setibo, the Surubion Federal Constituency, and I'm from Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I want to join my colleague in making a few contributions as it concerns the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement that has just been assented to, and Nigeria has attended her signature by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, why I see this motion very timely is that, yes, it's a good thing. We commend the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in the 2 steps he had taken before the signature of Nigeria on that document. Number 1 is having to put together an interagency committee to be able to discuss the issues of Nigeria and how they can see Nigeria's benefit and where Nigeria can leverage on this agreement before Nigeria goes to append the signature. And it's akin to what Theresa May was probably doing while negotiating with Brussels, as EU specifically, before Brexit. So, Mr. Speaker, there are very crucial things to be put in place by the Federal Republic of Nigeria if we are to take the benefit of the African common market that this agreement seeks to achieve for the African continent, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you permit me, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, if you permit me a little deviation, if you permit me, I'll write the names of noisemakers from my bag, sir. If you permit me.
I hope you put your name first, because I've been observing you.
Thank you very much, sir. I pray that the axe that has been falling on Jimmy Benson does not fall on me. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, on a serious note, we are to put in place certain things that will make us achieve the competitive advantage which this agreement seeks to achieve. And that's why I support prayer 2 in totality of this motion. Number 1, sir, it is the manufacturing sector of this country or any country that seeks to benefit from a free trade or a free market, a common market created for a community or nations. And the question now today is, how are our manufacturers faring in this country? Great challenges, ranging from power sector to security and to issue of tariffs, sir. So I want to appeal that before we get the full benefit that will translate to the competitive advantage that we should take from this agreement, as we proceed to look at the 2020 budget, then we must put in place serious funding to take up infrastructure so that, one, our manufacturers can produce their goods at the lowest cost possible. Because if we don't do this, we are virtually going to be competing in a market at a very disadvantaged position. So I want to urge, as we go forward, joining my colleague, that we urge the federal government to be able to put things in place, make sure adequate investment in infrastructure, ranging from power, and we will talk about the long term. I believe that other issues will come about, issues of gas pricing, which is the main supply for power stations, issues of our roads, issues of our railway system like we talked about last week. So I am advocating that we should put the infrastructure on ground, invest heavily on infrastructure development so that we can get the full benefit of this trade agreement for Nigeria and Nigerians. Those are my humble submissions, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Those in support of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Bezi is here. Honorable Bezi. Okay. Yeah, we'll take your motion. The third order of the day is a motion on need for mop-up of grains through mass purchase to sustain agricultural production during the rainy season, standing in the name of Honorable Musa Sirikirada and 21 others. I don't think Honorable Musa is here. He's on an official assignment in Bauchi, so we'll step this down. Huh? Point of order. Satomi. Okay, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Engineer Satomi Ahmed. Honorable colleagues, member representing Jere Federal Constituency. I'm from Borno State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I would like to crave the indulgence and pray, Mr. Speaker, this same motion I have submitted earlier with the same prayers so that you incorporate or consolidate next time when the appropriate person that named here is available for consolidation with the earlier motion submitted to your good office for consideration. That's my prayers. Thank you, sir.
Quite honestly, the truth is I don't know when this motion got on the order paper, and that's why it's important that I see all items on the order paper before they come up. He's very correct. He has discussed this matter. So we'll probably have to consolidate this one way or the other with Honorable Musa Seriki's others motion. But I think is your name appearing as a co-sponsor? Yes, Honorable Deputy.
Who moved the motion? You know, the motion is being stepped down for the third time. Even today will be the fourth time now. So, but I quite agree with the submission of my colleague that we can consolidate it. But in a simple term, it's not around now. We can step it down for the consolidation to come up. And on the day we are moving in, both of them can also be, you know, we have about 10 to 15 members are there even on the list.
No, that's what we were going to do. We were going to step it down and allow the consolidation so that he can actually even maybe pass, be even a co-sponsor. But I think the disconnect is coming from the fact that we don't have our business and rules committee, standing committee set up. They normally sift through all of these motions and bills. So we'll have to be mindful of the fact until we set up our business and we will have issues such as this. So motion step down. Honorable colleagues, the fourth order of the day is a motion on need to revamp the Nigerian Institute of Oil Palm Research at the ABAC substation in Akwa Ibom, standing in the name of Honorable Onyime Idem. Honorable Idem is invited to move the motion. Honorable Idem. Honorable Idem is not here. Okay, motion set down. Fifth order of the day is a motion on need to restore the Delta Warri Port Harcourt on Calabar and Onitsha inland ports in order to decongest the Apapa and Tinkan Island ports in Lagos State. Standing in the name of Honorable Ifeanyi Ibezi, Honorable Ibezi is invited to move the motion.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Honorable Ifeanyi Anthony Ibezi, I represent the good people of Idemili North and South Federal Constituency of
Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, the largest federal constituency east of the Niger. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion on urgent need to restore the Delta, Warri, Port Harcourt, One, Calabar, and Onitsha inland ports in order to decongest the Apapa and Tinkan Island port in Lagos State. The House of Representatives note that there are 6 major seaports in Nigeria, namely Lagos Port Complex, Apapa, and Tinkan Island Port Complex, both in Lagos State. The Calabar Port Complex in Cross River State, the Delta Port in Warri, Delta State, the Rivers Port Complexes, the Port Harcourt and One, both in River State. The Onitsha Inland Port in Anambra State, most of which have capacity to accommodate ocean liners. But at the moment, only the Lagos port complexes are operating at near full capacity for exportation and importation of goods, while the other ports are almost lying fallow. Aware that the federal government is committed to the diversification of the nation's economy and development of infrastructure in order to expand the revenue base of the nation. Cognizant that it is not economically and socially expedient, and even in terms of security of the nation, prudent or advisable to concentrate all port activities of a nation as big and diverse as Nigeria in only one area, as any unforeseen event would practically shut down importation and exportation of goods. Also note that the continued concentration of all port activities at the Apapa and Tinkan Island port complexes has resulted in congestion of the 2 ports, such that it now takes a truck with an authority to load, ATL, between 7 to 9 days to go in and out of port with the loads. A process that used to take a maximum of 3 hours. And the situation is worsened by the dilapidation of the 20-kilometer Apapa Wharf Road due to the numerous container-laden articulated vehicles that plies the road daily to excavate containers of goods. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, concerned that the congestion at the port and the ensuing gridlocks on the access road cause untold hardship to importers and exporters, and indeed to Nigerians living and working in the adjoining areas. A development that is leading to loss of huge revenue by the Nigeria to neighboring countries like Benin Republic, Cameroon, as a result of importers and exporters using the port of these countries to avoid the constraint of using the Lagos ports. Also concerned about the hemorrhages being incurred by importers while waiting for rather long period of time to have their goods cleared. The increase in transportation charges and the attendant rise in the prices of goods when they are eventually cleared, all of which increase the economic pains and add to the pressure on the common man. Informed that many African countries that are by far smaller than Nigeria and have less coastal lines and population utilize more port facilities for importation and exportation of goods. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, convinced that reviving the existing ports at Warri, Port Harcourt, Onne, Calabar, and Onitsha inland port, which are mainly along the coastal lines of the country and had fallen into disuse, required only political will and strong policy initiative. And doing this will significantly increase government revenue profile, enhance import, export businesses, and reduce the undue pressure on the Apapa and Tinkan Island port complexes. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the House of Representatives therefore resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to determine why the Warri, Port Harcourt, Onne, Calabar, and Onitsha inland port complexes are not being pulled to maximum use and make recommendations on measures that would ensure their revival as a way of reducing the congestion at the Lagos port and report back within 6 weeks for further legislative action. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Any second. Your neighbor can second. Hello, it's not working. Is your mic working now?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Adeyemi Bushiwan, because I write to support and second the motion able with my friend from Anambra State and the use of other local seaports in Nigeria. I so submit. I so second. Thank you.
Honorable colleagues, this is an infrastructure-related motion, so I'll just put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The sixth order of the day is a motion on call on the federal government to intervene in the ecological disaster afflicting the people and the land in Ilaje, Ese Odo Federal Constituency, Ondo State, standing in the name of Honorable Kola Victor Akinjo. Honorable Akinjo is invited to move his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My very dear honorable colleagues. My name is Kola V. Akinjo, and I represent the very conscious people of the Federal Constituency. I'm an Ilajeman from Ondo State, Mr. Speaker. This motion, of course, before I move the motion, my name is Kolade, and I will want that to be reflected in this motion, not Kola. The motion is called on the federal government to intervene in the ecological disaster affecting the people and the land in the Federal Constituency of Ondo State. House to note the recent devastating ocean shore flood, which destroyed property worth millions of naira and rendered hundreds of residents homeless in Awoye, in Molute, in Meshe, Ayetoro, Apereke, Dagira, and Orioke Waimimo communities in Nigeria, the Federal Constituency of Ondo State. Also note that the constant and unmitigated surge that have led to the displacement of the inhabitants of those communities, thereby affecting their traditional livelihood, which ultimately has caused them untold hardship with adverse implications on the education of their children and by extension the aged population whose lives are in peril. The storm that many
times when the waves of the ocean shore come with devastating silting of the waterways with mud directly changing the navigation pattern of the people on the waterways by constantly storing the tides to be able to move from place to place. Also disturbed by the constant siltation of these geographical beds. This was due to seal ingression and excursion has cumulatively made many of the freshwater routes impassable for the people, thereby making life and economic activities acutely difficult for the riverine communities. Also aware that the affected geographical area is host to oil companies whose oil exploration has attendant unimaginable environmental, social, and infrastructure consequences, ranging from water and air pollution and contamination of the water tables, leading to lack of potable water and perhaps electricity. I appreciate the intervention of the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, the Niger Delta Development Commission, that's NDDC, and the Ondo State government, which in the overall is meager compared to the volume of immediate and remote unattended challenges still confronting the people occupying the coastline of Ondo State, which of course is the largest coastline in Nigeria. Concerned that if urgent and adequate steps are not taken to reverse the disturbing environmental problems by providing basic infrastructure such as shoreline protection to the already threatened communities and dredging of canals and freshwater ways in the area, the incessant ocean surge may, apart from its existential proclivities, further lead to more loss of lives and property with devastating social consequences.
Any second there.
Conscious of the fact that if the determined efforts of the federal government are devoted to tackling those challenges, a permanent solution can be achieved. The House will resolve to call on the federal government as a matter of urgency to intervene through its Ecological Fund Office and other associated agencies to evaluate, develop, and find remediation plan and to curtail the environmental dangers already posed or where possible resettle the people in this geography. 2, urge the Federal Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, Environment, and the Niger Delta Development Commission to restructure their project priority plan for Ondo State in this particular region. A subsequent budget proposal to accommodate and tackle the challenges facing these communities. 3rd one, mandate the Committee on Environment and Habitat, NDDC, and Niger Delta Affairs when constituted to take a tour of these affected areas to ascertain the level of damages done, lies with relevant MDAs with a view to providing informed and lasting solutions to the situation. And B, urge National Emergency Management Agency to provide relief materials to the affected communities and victims. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, so much.
Any second as the motion, please. Honorable Yemi, who's that behind you? Honorable Yemi. Yeah.
Right Honorable Speaker, my name is Ade Adiogun. I represent the good people of Akoko South and Southwest Federal Constituency. I'm from Ondo State. I rise to support the motion ably moved by Honorable Akinjola. To second the motion ably moved by Honorable Akinjola. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Adiogun, you look different in your suit. I couldn't recognize it. Well, this is a disaster motion, so I'm just going to put the question. Those in support of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. seventh order of the day is a motion on need to investigate. Well, is Honorable Asuko here? Yeah, I think this motion also came up a few days ago, so I think on his behalf I'll withdraw this motion. Eighth order of the day is a motion on killings of Nigerians in Libya and the bombing of its Ajora detention center. Standing in the name of Honorable Chukuma Omeju, Honorable Omeju is invited to move the motion.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Chukuma Omeju, representing the good people of Agwata Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, the motion is on the killing of Nigerians in Libya and the bombing of Nigeria Detention Center. The Honorable House notes that many Nigerians have been killed in various detention centers across Libya, especially during the bombing of Nigeria Detention Center. Also notes that the United Nations report indicted the Libyan guards who shot at migrants trying to flee the Tajura Detention Center after it had been hit by a bomb. Concerned that the battle for the control of Tripoli between the Libyan ward, General Khalifa Haftar, and the United Nations-backed government of National Accord will further endanger the life of Nigerian migrants in Libya, the House do resolves to urge the Nigerian mission in Tripoli, Libya, to assist by issuing emergency travel documents to stranded Nigerians to enable them to return home. To set up an ad hoc committee to visit Libya for on-the-spot investigation of the state of Nigerians in various detention centers across Libya and what the Nigerian mission is doing to assist them, and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Any seconder, please? Honorable, please second the motion.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Ifani Idezi. I represent the good people of Idemili, North and South Federal Constituency of Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion, heavily moved by my brother, Honorable Chukuma Umoji. Mr. Speaker, I so second.
Those in support of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Omeju, you may lead the debate. Just 2 minutes, please.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain once again Honorable Chukuma Umoji, representing the good people of Agwata Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, this is a motion concerning life and death, and it's also a motion trying to assist people who cannot help themselves. The situation in Libya today is that there is no one single government in control. We have 2 major governments, one for Khalifa Haftar, the other one from the United Nations-backed government. But in the southern Libyan part, we have more than 7 groups, both the ISIS remnants holding sway. And the Nigerians we have in Libya today, even within Tripoli, you have over 3,000. And the record from the United Nations shows that today in Libya, you have over 33,000 migrants. And you know, in every black, out of every black, 10 black people, more than half of them are Nigerians. And most of them might be traveling with Togolese passports, Nigerian passports. When you investigate properly, you discover that most of them are Nigerians. So the problem is mostly Nigerian citizens that are involved. And a lot of atrocities are being reported. We have the camps where they harvest human organs. We have the camp where you have prostitutes who are crossing to Europe. You have the camp where they sell the merchant is human beings, where there is slave trade on a daily basis. Then the major camps we have in Tripoli today. As at yesterday, United Nations have given warning that those camps should be closed down. That the forces of Khalifa Haftar are coming, intensifying their bombing in Tripoli. And we know that under this condition, it will be difficult for most of our people who constitute major part of the migrants in Libya to escape. The report we had from the Tajura bombing was that as the missiles were landing, people who were trying to escape were being shot down by the Libyan guards. That is the subject of investigation today by the United Nations Agency. We have reports of women being raped in the presence of other migrants. We also have more dangerous reports of people who are in labor camps, whose documents are being held by the warlords. So if you tell them to come back to Nigeria, they cannot make it. So that is why we suggest that the Nigerian embassy, though they are trying, but they don't have funds. Because for you to liberate most of these people, you need to pay a certain amount, especially those who are in camps outside Tripoli. So I think it will be very important if there will be a special intervention to appeal to the Nigerian embassy in Libya to issue emergency travel documents to people identified as Nigerians. Because when somebody comes to an embassy under that circumstance and you ask them to produce an identity, something that will show that you're a Nigerian, it becomes difficult because most of these people, as far as they are in Libya today, they don't have any document on them. So we need to, as a national policy, find a way of assisting them to get back. The second part of it is that it will be proper for the House of Representatives to go down to Libya, find out on the ground what is going on. It is high time for Nigerians to value human life. Let us not export this neglect for the life of man abroad. Because what is happening in Libya today is that at the slightest provocation, the migrants are shot by the guards. So I think if this honorable house will hold, so that we can, at least for now, intervene to make sure that the ones there are back to Nigeria. And we also pray that we get things right here, so that more people will not start moving in the days ahead. So honorable colleagues, this is a motion concerning life and death. And our constituents are involved. Let us do the best to help them in their point of need. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
Amendment, Mr. Speaker.
Amendment. Please move your amendment. I think Honorable Isiaka.
Thank you very much once again, Right Honorable Speaker, of our own time. Honorable Ibrahim Ayakuni Zakari. I represent the very good people of the Ecological federal constituency. I'm from Ogun State, Mr. Speaker. All well said and done by our honorable colleague. All well said and done by our honorable colleague, and I want to appreciate him for this. But I seek amendment to his prayer, number 2. Premise on the fact that even apart from Libya, we have in Nigeria, we have in Dubai, everywhere. And I want to seek that our motions like this will be holistic enough when the committee on the foreign affairs is constituted, so that we can have a proper, well-articulated committee dealing with this very issue confronting us as a nation. Also, we have the person of the federal bureau already working on it. So ad hoc is hard job. But if we now have a committee that takes responsibility on this foreign affairs, we will deal with this. That's my amendment.
Any seconder, please. Honorable Dow. You're seconding the, okay. No. I told you. Honorable, go ahead and second. Honorable Dow, do you have an amendment? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable David Idris Zakaria by the special grace of God. I represent the good people and the special people of Ida Federal Constituency of the Confluence State, Kogi. Mr. Speaker, I arise to second the motion and the amendment moved by my colleagues. Thank you, so I move.
Thank you. Those in support of the amendment, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Victor, you have an amendment to the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Ecological, and I represent the good people of the largest of the Prague constituency. My amendment to the motion as moved is to significantly identify or perhaps note the effort of the Diaspora Commission in the recent days intervening with regards to foreign issues. So I want to amend that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Commission, the matter of urgency, intervene to ensure that lives of Nigerians are protected in this particular location, as mentioned. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of the amendment, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Abejide.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Leke Joseph Abejide. I represent the good people of Yagba East, Yagba West. I'm of Amuru Federal Constituency. I'm from Kogi State. My amendment, sir, is on the second leg, where he said that an ad hoc committee should be constituted to visit Libya. Please, I would suggest that it should be the responsibility of the mission, the Nigerian mission in Libya, to take charge so that we can minimize the loss of lives, taking into consideration what happened recently in South Africa, to endanger the life of our members to go to Libya at this time. I will amend that one shouldn't be there. I so move for amendment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable, please second.
Mr. Speaker, I am Honorable Ben Roland Ilapa. I represent Ethiopia East, Ethiopia West, and by the grace of God, we are from Delta State. I rise to second the amendment beautifully moved by my brother, Honorable Leke. I beg to support.
Those in support of the amendment, please say aye. And nobody is answering. It's time to close shop. Those in support of the amendment, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Those in support of the motion as amendment, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Point of order. Who's raising point of order? Honorable Balogun. Is that okay? What's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, my name is Joe Robert Auna. I
I represent the people of Kano Oshungo, other constituency of Benue State. Mr. Speaker, I rise on order 5. Mr. Speaker, I sit here today. I have borne it all the time, but I think it is right I mention that my seat name has moved. So I am not sure anymore if this is still my seat. My seat, the name has moved. It moved before I got here today.
Can you press the green button on the little console, the tiny little console by your feet? Okay, is the chairman welfare committee here? What name do you have on your seat? Okay. Honorable Onanunga, please take note. There's no name on his seat. Maybe his nameplate has dropped out, but it doesn't mean that your seat has been moved. But she will sort you out. Honorable Balogun, what's your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, once again, my name is Honorable Adebayo Balogun, representing the Legi Federal Constituency. Looking at the function of government under Chapter 2 of the Constitution, Section 30, which states the fundamental objective of government is to secure lives and property. And we want to look at reasons why people are actually going to most of these states, because most of the time we talk about remedial actions, and we are not looking at...
Are you debating the motion? No, we've finished contribution. We finished contributions and we've just finished amendments, so we're about to put the question. We've gone past the stage of contributions for the debate. Okay, so what's your amendment? No. Those in favor of the motion as amended, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. So where were you, Honorable Balogun, when everybody was contributing? The ninth order of the day is a motion on need to address the dearth of manpower in the Nigeria police force, standing in the name of Honorable Ajibola Muraino. Honorable Muraino is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I am Dr. Honorable Ajibola Muraino. Mr. Speaker, I am representing Barapa Central, Barapa North Federal Constituency. I am from Oyo State. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I have a motion, and with the kind permission of the Right Honorable Speaker in the House, I move. The House notes that effective policing is the nation's most pressing challenge. Hence, the need to boost the capacity of Nigerian police force to enable it to perform its core constitutional function of maintaining law and order and safeguarding the lives and property of ordinary citizens, thereby addressing the state of insecurity in the country. Aware that Nigeria has approximately 370,000 police personnel to police an estimated 200 people, which is clearly inadequate and self-defeating. Hence the need for recruitment of more police personnel for the force. Conscious that the Nigerian police force is clearly overwhelmed by the numerous security challenges plaguing the country, given that most activities of bandits, kidnappers, armed robbers, and herdsmen are carried out in enclaves, jungles, and forests located all over Nigeria, which were hitherto guarded by forest guards. Cognizant that the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Muhammad Adamu, is making efforts to improve the performance of police personnel and has recently ordered police formation across the country to refer to the 8 hours, 3-shift work schedule from the present 12 hours, 2-shift regime which will improve the performance of the police personnel by reducing work-related stress and emotional conditions that negatively impact on their performance. Also conscious that the Police Service Commission, PSC, is proposing having part-time constables and has outlined the requisite qualifications of prospective constables and some operational details, and they will be drawn from the pool of already employed Nigerians in various professions who are physically fit and within the ages of 21 and 50 years, and who, like their regular counterparts, will not be harmed even when in uniform, as their duties will be restricted to administrative matters, crowd control, alternative dispute resolutions, emergency management, and other less risky or sensitive services. Also aware that there are so many Nigerians with excellent professional qualifications roaming the streets daily, seeking for employment, who are suitable for recruitment and should therefore be the target of the Nigerian police force with regard to the proposed part-time constables. Concerned that the proposal to enlist between 15 to 25,000 part-time constables annually over a period of 5 years will not address the shortfall in the conventional force, since it is very clear. Further aware that the police personnel are not as well fitted as their counterparts in other countries, as officers on duty ought to have a duty belt of the handgun, a taser, an expandable baton, pepper spray, a set of handcuffs, ammunition magazines, gloves, torch, and a two-way radio. The House resolves, 1, to call on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to direct the Police Service Commission to put on hold the proposal for recruitment of part-time constables, as the measure will not address the shortfall in police personnel in the country or ensure the needed security. 2, also call on the federal government to commence the recruitment of Nigerians with requisite professional qualifications into the Nigerian police force to address the shortfall in the force. 3, urge the federal government to ensure that the forest guards responsible for law enforcement in national parks and forests have their operations streamlined to include enforcing poaching duties, safeguarding and protecting animal species, and patrolling the forest to keep up bandits and criminal elements, and they should be incorporated into the security architecture of the country in the paramilitary agency. I also called the National Security Advisor to to put in place effective collaboration between the security agencies with a view to harmonizing their intelligence gathering and operations. The House is to mandate the Committees on Police Affairs and National Security and Intelligence, when constituted, to ensure compliance and report back to the House for further legislative action. Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I move in terms of the motion paper. I beg to move.
Any seconder, please? Honorable Ifeanyi.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my name is Okudele Christopher Ezawankwo, representing the good representing the hardworking people of Olumanat and South Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, on Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion moved by Honorable Adibara. I shall second.
Honorable Muraina, do you want to contribute or lead to the lead debate, or just put the question?
Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, it's a case of interlocutor, Mr. Speaker. The case speaks for itself. I would love that you put the question, sir.
Thank you very much. Those in support of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. I'm sure the others will take a cue from our experienced Honorable Muraina. The 10th order of the day is a motion on the need to tackle the scourge of rape and other sexual offenses against children in Nigeria. Standing in the name of Honorable Shina Abiola Pella. Honorable Pella is invited to move this motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am Shina Pella. I represent Iseyin Tesiwaju. I represent Iseyin Tesiwaju, Kajola, Iwajo, and Federal Constituency. I'm from Oyo State. I stand as the voice of the common man at the House of Representatives, and I rise today to raise a motion on the need to tackle the scourge of rape and other sexual offenses against children and women in general in Nigeria. The House knows that gender-based violence, such as rape and other forms of sexual abuses, has assumed serious dimensions globally and in Nigeria. The prevalence of rape cases is estimated at 80%, with the children and even babies not being spared the scourge, while the prevalence of incidents of rape among adolescent females is between 11 and 55%. Also note that the United Nations Children's Education Fund, UNICEF, has observed that 1 in 4 Nigerian girls must have experienced sexual violence before the age of 18. Because that the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act 2015 is considered a milestone as it strives to protect women and girls from all forms of violence, including sexual violence, such as rape, sexual assault, physical, psychological, and domestic violence, and even to harmful traditional practices. Aware that one Idris Ebiloma was alleged to have raped a 4-year-old girl and is currently under trial for the same offenses. Further note that Section 38 of Section 1 of Act entitles victims to comprehensive legal, medical, psychological, and social assistance to provide either by the government or non-governmental organization, and further entitles victims to be informed of the assistance available and immediate access to such services, as well as to rehabilitation and reintegration programs available to them at the expense of the state. Consider that the provisions of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act are not being implemented, as the required legal, medical, psychological, and social assistance are still not being provided to the vast majority of victims of sexual offenses in Nigeria. Also concerned that the absence of state-sponsored support, rehabilitation, and reintegration programs for victims of sexual abuses hampers the effort towards the prevention of sexual transmitted infections, prevention and management of unwanted pregnancies, prevention of HIV infection through the provision of post-exposure prophylaxis, and prevention of other diseases such as tetanus and hepatitis B. I pray to the House to resolve to, number one, urge the federal government to establish rehabilitation and reintegration programs for the victims of rape and other sexual offenses in every state of the nation. Number two, I call on that the House should call on the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice to prepare a national policy framework to guide the implementation of Sexual Offences Act that will provide further certainty to the law regarding the age at which a person can consent to sexual activities. Number three, also urge governments of states of the Federation to maintain sexual offences registers in the state. Number four, for the House to resolve to further call on the Attorney General of the Federation to ensure that Idris Ebiloma, who was alleged to have raped a 4-year-old child, is diligently prosecuted for the offense he is accused of committing. Number five, I pray to the House to mandate the Committee of Justice and Police Affairs when constituted to ensure compliance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Pella. Any seconder, please? Honorable Satori. Engineer Satori.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Engineer Satomi, representing Jere Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Borno State. I rise to second the motion moved by my honorable colleagues regarding SGV, sexual gender violence offenses against children in Nigeria. I so moved as a court.
Thank you. Honorable Pella. 2 minutes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I still remain Shino Pella. I represent the Senate Tesiwaju Kajola Iwajowa Federal Constituency from Oyo State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I believe that I do not need to remind this House the prevalence of rape in Nigeria and the way that every other country around the world is taking this offense seriously. I believe that it's high time for this honorable House to put its feet on the ground and stand against this nefarious act. Like I said during the motion, when I was doing the motion, that 1 out of every 4 girls in Nigeria has, according to UNICEF, has been sexually abused before the age of 18. And we all know that these numbers are increasing day by day. And I'm sure that if care is not taken, all of our girls, our children, and the children of people that protest for us, will experience this act. So I use this opportunity to appeal to this honorable House, Mr. Speaker, and honorable colleagues, that we should be the voice, we should speak for the voiceless, and also make sure that we defend the defenseless, and make sure that this honorable House do everything to shift the blame, to shift the agony, to shift the blame, the agony, and the psychological setback that goes to the victim, to the perpetrators of these nefarious acts. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there anybody that's interested in speaking against this motion? Those in support of the motion, Honorable Victor, you have an amendment?
Sir. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. My colleague, my name is Kolade V. Akinjo, and I represent the good people of Lajesa local constituency in Lajema from Ondo State. First, let me commend the mover of this motion. The issue of rape is like a crime against humanity, and of recent it has become rampant within our country, and the urgency to tackle it cannot be underestimated. And so my amendment, because of course recently within the confine of my state, particularly in a local government, a small girl was sexually molested, and it was posted on the Facebook. And the House taking a position on this now will send the right signal to the people as a parliament of the people's parliament. And in view of this, my motion, my amendment is that the Inspector, we urge that the House urge the Inspector General of Police to direct the Commissioner of Police in various states of the Federation to cause a very rapid investigation into cases of rape and ensuring that the culprits are brought to book. That's my amendment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any second. Honorable Yusuf.
Mr. Speaker, I'm Honorable Yusuf Francosin, representing Yaudi Shanga in this federal constituency of Kebbi State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to amend the prayer number 3. Also urge government of state of federation to maintain.
No. We're seconding, right? You're seconding Honorable Victor's amendment. You have your own separate amendment. You have your own separate amendment? Okay, Honorable Kabir, you can second the Honorable Victor.
No, don't worry. Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Kabir Idris, member representing the entire people of Kura, Modoguga, Rumala. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Kano State. I rise to second the motion. Amendment heavily moved by my friend. I so support, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of the amendment, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Sununu, you can move your amendment.
Mr. Speaker, I'm Honorable Yusuf Francosin, representing Shanga in this federal constituency of State. Mr. Speaker, I want to call for the amendment of the prayer number 3. Also urge government of the state of the federation to maintain sexual offences register in the state. Mr. Speaker, sir, experience has shown that the prevalence of rape in this country is underreported. And this is the fact, based on the fact that rape is associated with stigmatization and self-blame, that whoever is raped is being erroneously assumed that particularly there was a rape, they are predisposed to the rape. Because of the fear of stigmatization, most of the rape victims are not reported. And now when you look at Nigeria, the issue of confidentiality in register is also another major issue. How are we sure that the register will be confidentially kept? So I think the word confidentiality should be added to the prayer. That the register must be kept confidential so that the consequences may not be listed either politically, socially, or otherwise, victim that was raped in a particular time. I therefore move to say that confidential registered also be kept rather than ordinary register. Thank you, sir.
I'm not sure if you have a good point, but I'm not sure if Honorable Shinapel, I don't know if that's the type. What you normally have is a register of sexual offenders, not offenses. So I don't know if that's what you meant, or did you actually mean sexual offenses? Because if you meant sexual offenses, then Honorable Soluno has a very good point in terms of confidentiality. So were you talking about register of sexual offenders? In other words, name and shame is what they say, or sexual offenses.
Mr. Speaker, is sexual offenders.
Sexual offenders. Okay, so that makes that puts paid to that amendment. Any other amendment, Honorable Shadikwe?
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues. Rape has become a very major issue in our society in the recent years. My name is Honorable Tolulope Akonde Shadikwe, representing Oluyole Federal Constituency in Oyo State. Please excuse the error. I guess I'm very emotional about this topic. When I came in this morning and I saw this, I was very happy. And I must thank Honorable Pella. Okay, so basically my amendment is this, that the sexual violence reorientation of our police force is very, very key. Because most times when these cases are brought before the police themselves don't pay much attention to it. When you see the kind of harm that is done to especially a minor that is being raped, there must be situations where our police force have that humane attitude to rape. So therefore, I am requesting for an amendment that would include a special department in the police force dedicated to rape of minors, and need to be staffed with special police people who have gone through psychological counseling programs. That is my amendment in a nutshell. Thank you for the opportunity.
So, Honorable Shadikwe's amendment is that the police, a special unit be created in the police for cases of statutory rape. Any seconder?
Mr. Speaker. I represent the very unique people of Abak and Temekuika Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity given me this afternoon, and I rise to second the amendment heavily moved, the very emotional amendment heavily moved by my sister seated here. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of the emotional amendment, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Those in support of the motion as amended, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, before we adjourn, I will announce a list of delegation of those who will pay a condolence visit to our leader, an elder who lost his daughter and we did move a motion on that this morning. The list of the delegation will be Honorable Yemi Ali, Honorable Tolu Sharipe, Honorable Ishmael from Kwara, Honorable Ben Ibakwa, Honorable Leke Abejude, Honorable Ibrahim Hamza, Honorable Shehu Koko, Honorable Sani Bala, Honorable Odebumi, Honorable Osai Osai. Honorable Odebumi will lead the delegation. Whip, can you move for adjournment, please?
Honorable Speaker, honorable members,
Hold on. Okay, yes, we had a minute silence in the prayers that was not observed. So can we please rise for a minute silence for the soul of the departed? Gentle soul, rest in peace. Louis.
Okay. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Martia Monguno, Ganza Federal Constituency of Borno State. I hereby move that the House do adjourn tomorrow, Wednesday, 17th of July, 2019 by 11 a.m. I so move.
Honorable Isiaka.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion that's been moved by Honorable Mokunu. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, sir.
All those in support of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. House is adjourned till tomorrow, 11 a.m.